The Chippendales have closed their over 22-year-long residency at the Rio Hotel and they are moving to the Las Vegas Strip. I have all that information coming for you. I'm Mike the Vegas Guy, and this is not a show review for a change. My apologies to those of you who are looking for my usual reviews on my channel. I'll tell you the story. It's kind of funny. I was working on a review of the Chippendales show at the Rio. A friend of mine had some free tickets and invited me to come along. I said, great, I'll do another review, I'll get some content for my channel, and better yet, they tell me when I get to the show that you can take all the photos and video that you want. So I said, this is going to be great. I took a bunch of footage. Then I sit down doing my research like I always do before I make a video, and I quickly discover that they are closing at the Rio, only to reopen on January 14th at the Link Hotel. So by the time you are watching this, they have already closed their production at the Rio, and now suddenly all of my footage that I took of the version of this show at the Rio is now useless to me. So I figured I would make a short video and release it to you guys and at least give you the news of what's going on, and I'm going to have to go visit the new production and do a full review later on in the future. So you might be asking, why are they moving to the Link? Why are they leaving the Rio? They have been at the Rio Hotel for over 22 years. The theater that they've been performing in was custom built for them. After they started there, they were so successful, Rio decided to invest in the show. They have been successful there for so long, it begs the question, why are they doing this? Well, now again, I'm speculating a bit, but I'm using a lot of context clues, reading between the lines of the press release that they mentioned. When they move to the Link, they will of course be joining the Caesars Entertainment portfolio of shows, which they were for a long period of time when Caesars Entertainment owned the Rio. As you probably already know from watching my review of the Rio Hotel a few months back, Caesars Entertainment sold the Rio Hotel to the new owners Dreamscape a few years ago. And of course, in that transaction, Caesars did not get to keep any of the shows that were playing at the Rio. Like I've mentioned before in many videos on this channel, most of the shows in Las Vegas rent their space from the hotels. Hotels are really not in the business of producing shows much anymore these days. So when Caesars sold the Rio property to Dreamscape, the shows just kind of had to stay with Rio because they were just tenants with a new landlord. Dreamscape became the new landlord for all of the shows, and in the process, Caesars Entertainment lost the ability to brag that they had Chippendales, Penn and Teller, The Comedy Cellar, Wow in their show portfolio. Now, I don't know this for sure, but it does seem that the only reason the Chippendales are making this move is because Caesars cut a deal with them and won them over and enticed them to move to a Caesars property. I haven't heard specific details about a deal with Chippendales, but I do know that Caesars put in a significant effort to try and lure Penn and Teller away from the Rio and to stay with the Caesars company. Penn and Teller made it pretty public earlier last year that they signed a new deal with Dreamscape and that they will be remaining at their namesake theater for probably the rest of their careers, if we're being honest. It seems as though Caesars made an offer and won that battle with the Chippendales. I am speculating here that because Chippendales' last show at the Rio was December 31st of 2024, they probably just had a contract that had to expire before they were allowed to move to Caesars. I realize I just said the word Caesars, but they are moving to the Caesars company. They're actually going to be moving to the Link Hotel, to the Matt Franco Theater. So they're going to be sharing a space with Matt Franco performing after his regular magic show at 9 p.m. And I guess they're also going to do some 11 o'clock shows on the weekends. This is not the first time that Matt Franco has had to share his theater with some other shows, but it has been a while. Since the pandemic, it has been just Matt Franco in his namesake theater over at the Link. Now, something I have not heard any information about yet is what is going to become of the Chippendales space at the Rio. Something I was planning to mention in my review of this show, at least at their old space at the Rio, is their theater is an incredible theater. It was custom built for them. It's a really wonderful, intimate space with a pretty large stage. Not to mention it has its own bathrooms, a bar and lounge area, as well as a gift shop on your way out. So I would imagine that there are many shows in town or show producers in town who would be dying to get into that space. It's an incredible room to have any production in. I'm personally hoping that some other smaller shows will be able to find their way into that space space, and I'm hoping and praying that the Rio doesn't do something stupid like turn that theater into a bar or a restaurant or something other than a performance venue, because it's such a great venue. So anyway, hopefully you're enjoying this footage of one of the final performances of the Chippendales in their old space at the Rio. If you're enjoying what you're seeing, then you're just going to have to go over to the Link Hotel starting January 14th to catch them over there. I would imagine that the show is not going to change too much, seeing as how they only have less than 2 weeks to move to their new venue. But it's a much larger stage, a different venue, so I would imagine there's going to be some differences. I'm just going to have to go there in person and find out. So stay tuned to my channel for my review of this show and many more shows coming up real soon on this channel. Thank you so much for hitting that like button. Hit that subscribe button with notifications turned on so you get notified every time I put a new show review, buffet review, or hotel review up on this channel. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Mike the Vegas Guy.